I usually try to do people that are trending in that way. People are interested in White Housewives. But.
Yeah.
Did you work on your Katt Williams today?
You have an allegiance. No, I'm still working on that one.
Dude, Katt Williams,
He's the GOAT.
he's the funniest person ever.
He is the funniest person ever.
No,
Like,
literally.
He was doing a radio bit and he was roasting the woman that was interviewing him.
Yeah, we just
watched it. Oh
Dude.
my God. What was it that he said?
Dude, he was like, your cholesterol is 600. Oh, you getting too excited. The exercise is kicking in. She's breathing heavy and she's sweating.
No, I felt bad because it's funny. I tuned in like halfway through and I was like, why is he like destroying this woman?
Yeah.
I was like, this feels like sexism. But then I like got more info and I'm like, oh, this lady was like talking shit to him first. And Katt Williams was like, you're going to talk shit to me? I'm going to destroy you.
I'm going to absolutely ruin your life.
Literally.
He didn't even give her any time to speak. No, nothing. It was just joke after joke of absolutely ravaging her.
Yeah.
But he did it so perfectly. Seamless, didn't even stutter. I'm like, damn, I would lose in a roast to him.
Dude, and every time it was just like a response to when, like every time she would punch him, he was just like, here, take this. Like, and he just never stopped.
It was even better.
But did you know, and I don't even know if you know this, babe, that her husband like ran up on him with a gun after the interview. That's how badly she got roasted. You know it's bad when you try to kill the person afterwards.
That's way worse than getting slapped, okay?
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, but like this guy tried to kill him.
Even worse. I think she got let go from the show though.
Oh,
like
she
after
did?
getting roasted, then they like fired her from the radio show. So he done took her dignity and her job. Like she out. She is out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no,
he's so crazy.
He's like king of the roaster. I think he should host all award shows.
Yeah.
I think he's just talented and he's on that level where he knows enough Hollywood dirt that he has respect enough to roast them.
Yeah.
Some other comedians can't really roast the celebrities because it doesn't translate well.
Well,
but
also, I
Katt
think
can.
it's more like Katt Williams is more of a comedian. Like if Kevin Hart were to go around roasting everybody, he would have a very awkward career having to act with like all these people in movies
Next
later.
to
And
them.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Katt Williams is like more, I think, a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
And a lot of these other people are more actors and, you know, and that. But speaking of which.
No, I was gonna say, what do you think about that too? Like, why do you think Katt Williams isn't more mainstream and more like in a position like a Kevin Hart or something, you know?
Maybe just because he's a little bit like off the wall and like, you know, he might say like a little bit more crazy shit that's not as like kid friendly, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you can literally take the whole family to see Kevin Hart, but you can't take the whole family to see Katt Williams. You know what I mean?
Well, I also
Yeah.
think too, like he was so successful as Money Mike that like his whole persona for like 5 years was like the pimp. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like it
they
was
kind
like
of pigeonholed him into that character.
Yeah, and that
Right.
isn't super like family friendly, you know.
No, it's
in
not.
my opinion.
Not really.
Completely.
Yeah,
Depends on
I
what family
literally
you're in.
always thought of Katt Williams as the pimp from How High.
Oh yeah.
Like literally in my head, like that's how I see him for life, you know?
Yes.
Wait, I
Poor
have
guy.
a confession to make.
What?
I've never seen How High.
Oh my God, go away. Literally,
I didn't even know he was in that.
You haven't seen How High?
No, I guess, you know.
No, I have a
didn't
confession.
happen.
I didn't watch it all the way through, but because of let me clear my conscience here. I haven't watched it either. But when I watched his the interview where he was just airing out Hollywood's like the most recent interview with Katt,
Yes.
that's when I went back and I had to watch the clips because I was like, I better know what I'm talking about. But it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
like
I'm with
you gotta dig a little
No,
bit
but-
to.
Yeah.
But on the subject though of comedy and acting and all that, like, do you think that would you prefer to do like straight up comedy or do you want to get more into doing acting?
I've always wanted to do acting, but using characters. So I love character work.
Yeah.
I've always thrived in that, you know, audition for SNL, done all the crazy auditions, hosting auditions. So that's where I feel comfortable and I'm good. But stand up scares the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I respect it so much. And I think it's becoming so easy to kind of go from like TikTok to then translate right onto the stage. And you have to do a lot more than that. You can't just come up and that easily anymore. But TikTok and social media has made it easier to do that. But I respect it so much. So I think I would rather do acting. But,
Well, that's the dynamic that I feel like is happening now too, is like when you were a comedian 10, 20 years ago, you had to like get booed, like go through the circuit, like
every single night,
spend like 5 years just refining your material and all that. And nowadays you can just blow up on social media and all of a sudden there's a demand for you to do shows, but you're not like experienced enough to do it.
Right.
And I feel like we've seen that with some people where they go out and they kind of bomb, but because they were so popping, like because of their podcast or whatever, they had the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I know. Like there's like, you know, a few different people who I think are like super funny on like their podcast, and then I'll watch their stand up and I'm like, I don't get it here. What's going on? You know, I think you'd be great doing stand up though, because like you're so good at just like naturally being funny, like while you talk, you know what I mean? Like,
thank you.
I sometimes like, I think like for me in my life, I've always been the type of person like, I didn't like know I was funny for a while. And then like, I realized I'm just kind of like a naturally funny person. Like I don't like think of what to say or like, like I just say things and people will laugh at me. And I'm like, oh, like
that wasn't meant to be funny,
like,
but here we are.
Funny?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But like, I think that you also have that too, where it's like, even if you weren't doing impersonations or whatever, like you're just like a naturally funny person, you know?
Thank you. I appreciate that. I used to do stand-up back when I was like way, way young. I mean, like 18, 17. And then I kind of just started using the digital platforms and kind of just made money that way. And I felt comfortable. But it'll always be my dream to get back on stage. And I still do. I do here and there shows where I'm fully in character.
Yeah.
But it's tough to be just Andrea Lopez and doing stand-up.
Yeah.
That's another level.
No, I think that you'll really thrive though with acting, because your impersonations are amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Chanel, let's get me the job. Let's get me the booking.
no, literally, I'm like, I don't know who's watching. You know, I've been talking to some agents, so maybe they're checking for you too right now.
I hope. I better be careful what I say. Yes.
Yeah, no, but I think that for sure, like, I could see you doing so many different roles. But out of all the people that you impersonate, would you say that Courtney is your favorite, or who do you think's your favorite?
This sounds so cliche, but they really are all my favorites for different reasons. But the most outlandish people, the time right now, Teresa Giudice from Housewives.
Yeah.
She's just trending, going off.
Yeah.
So I enjoy whatever is I have the most to go off of. And right now it's Teresa. So I'm always doing her. She comes out. Like, I'll be with my boyfriend. I'm like, oh, my babe. And he's like, you need to stop. You need to stop.
He's like half the time dating Teresa.
Like, I didn't know I signed up for this. What the fuck? Yeah.
That is so. Have you met Teresa yet?
I've met Teresa. I've hosted shows for her.
Uh-huh.
That was fun.
Does she love it, or what does she think of it?
She was like, wait, are you making fun of me? Or do you like me? I was like, Teresa, I'm trying to get my check. Okay, whenever I get my check. No, once I got to spend time with her, she was so welcoming, so nice. Louis too, her husband.
Oh my God, they're so sweet.
They really are so sweet. And so I told her, I only impersonate people that I find super funny, super entertaining.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be mean or, you know, there's no negative feelings towards you. So she was like, all right, you're cool. Like, you know, but being on a reality TV, I'm sure just being in the spotlight, you have a hard time trusting people. So Teresa especially has been through so much.
Yeah.
So she's a little bit more guarded than Louis. So Louis was like very welcoming to me. And then Teresa eventually was like, all right, yeah. Yeah, you're cool.
What about Courtney? I mean, I'm sure it's harder to meet a Kardashian.
Yeah, what would you do if you met Courtney?
Shit my pants. Like literally go into shock. It is good.
I'm sorry. I don't want to ruin it. Like, I need to shut up. Keep going, because it's so good.
I was telling her before we even started, the cameras were rolling. I was like, Chanel, you literally have my favorite laugh in Hollywood.
Thank you.
I want to bottle it up. I want to take it home.
Thanks.
And it's so great. So no, keep laughing. But only Chloe has commented. They've definitely seen our stuff. Whether it's been like their makeup artist or somebody. Some of my videos are my friends in my videos. We do Chris and Courtney together. They've reached them.
Yeah.
But we've never been reached out. You know, Poosh. I'm like, we could do a Poosh video, you know, like the opportunities are endless here. But yeah, I think it'd be really fun to meet them. But I really don't know what they think about the impression. I have no idea.
I know for sure that I'm not gonna say I know for sure. No, I know for sure. And you said Chloe commented. I've met Chloe. She's super cool. I did a song with French Montana years ago, and they were dating at the time. So Chloe came to the video shoot. She was like hella nice, chilling. I remember like some of my friends were trying to talk to her, and I was like, no, don't talk to those people. Go away.
Just let them.
Like I was like, don't. Like, why are you talking to them? But Chloe was like hella cool, and she's like super funny, and I feel like out of everybody, I feel like she probably appreciates it more than any of them.
She gets the humor.
Yeah, no, she
Her
gets
and
it.
Scott, they were just such good characters on the show because they really had such a big personality.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I could watch them do anything together, but yeah, I could see Khloe really.
I think it's funny you said that too, because ironically, so he's modeled for Scott's clothing line, Talentless.
Yes.
And I think it's funny that Scott's clothing line is called Talentless, because I'm like, I actually think he's a really funny person. Like, you are kind of talented at being funny. You know what I mean?
It's like tongue in cheek though, right? It's like, oh, like talentless, like watch me do this type of thing.
But that's the thing though, is like that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't think he realizes like he is such a big comedic factor in the Kardashians. Like, it was like, even after him and Kourtney were broken up and there was no reason for him to be there, they're like, how do we get him in the scene? You know what I mean?
Let's have him do a prank on like our third cousin and he would deliver.
We just need to get him there somehow, some way. And that's how you know that he is actually talented. So that's why I think it's funny he has that brand. But
no, I mean, your Kourtney videos on TikTok go crazy. I think one of them got like, I saw one that was like 6 million views.
Oh, let me just,
like something crazy. Do we have that? Can we play something like that?
We need to play it, but really quick first, the funniest is at the beginning of the pandemic when I finally made a TikTok and gave in, because I was one of those people that, like, I've done music forever and I'm like, I'm a real artist. I'm not making TikToks.
Yeah, I know.
And my, like, the person I was working with from this distro label was like, listen, girl, everybody's making TikToks. You need to make them.
You just gotta,
and I was like, all right, let me get on there. And so one of actually the first ones I did, I did a voiceover with where I think it's Khloe and Kourtney talking. And
oh my God, yes.
I hope this didn't come off mean, but this is the funniest thing though. So I did like a little widow's peak. Like, I just like drew it. And then the funniest thing is all these comments were like, it's giving more Sophia Richie than Kourtney. And I'm like, wait, I do kind of resemble Sophia Richie. And I'm like, fuck this. I was like, this was the worst. This impression went wrong. I'm like,
this wasn't how I ended up ending up.
I meant to imitate Scott's ex, not his current girlfriend. And they were like, no, this is giving more Sophia Richie. I'm like, okay, I'll just.
Does she even have a widow's peak?
Sophia Richie. She does a little bit too, which is ironic. So like,
he has a type, widow's peak.
I didn't even know women got widow's peaks.
No, yeah, what do you mean? You do.
That's I feel like that's a guy thing.
No, it's like,
you see like the.
It's
right. Sometimes,
It's no. I mean, a couple like people have. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's like a very unique trait. To me, a widow's peak is kind of like almost like the dimple in the chin. You know, it's like it's kind of that unique thing that not everybody has, and so it's like. You know, it's quirky.
It's not bad or good, but it's not mainstream. Like people that have, you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Right.
We're not trying to do cheesy intros. I'm trying to just like, you know, have a very authentic vibe here, but I would like the world watching, in case you don't know who our guest is, Andrea Lopez. I had to like take a second to say that because I'm really bad with mixing up Andrea and Andrea. It's not
very easy.
It's not Andrea. It's Andrea Lopez. She's hilarious. She does the best impersonations on TikTok, comedian, actress. And that's how I discovered her, just scrolling on TikTok as we all do. And her Kourtney Kardashian impressions, like I can't, like, they make me happy. Like they just give me so much joy in my soul. So I want you guys to get to see a little bit. Okay, play this one.
Watch this one.
Hey mom, Travis and I just like got married in Vegas, like literally, and yeah, the camera crews were not here.
Yeah. I love how it goes to the meme of Chris just like,
like the little Chris image.
Oh my God, play one more. They make me so happy.
These ones, we can do even Chris can't keep up. So I have a Chris to my court.
Wait, the one where it was, what was it? The line for the people waiting for was it the Skims pop-up?
Oh, yes.
That one was so
we got kicked out by security. I'm like, you guys. So we went to the Skims pop-up in Manhattan because we heard, and let me tell you something. When you're a struggling comedian, actress, you'll do literally anything.
Yeah.
I bought a ticket to BravoCon to get appearances. My agents couldn't even get me a ticket. I had to pay my own way.
Yeah.
And it ends up into a job, but it's just crazy. So for the Skims pop-up, my comedian friend Anna Roisman, she was like, we got to go to the Skims pop-up. It's in Rockefeller Center. Get your wig and let's go. I've got a friend that can film for us. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do there? Like, we're in Rockefeller Center. So she literally, this family's so powerful. They closed down Rockefeller Center. They put up a Skims waterfall. How the hell do you have running water in Rockefeller? I mean, it's like, I'm like, you guys did all this for the installment of the Skims. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So we show up and the security guards are like, hey, you don't have authority to record here. I'm like, sir, we're literally dressed up as Chris and Court. let us do our thing. Okay. It's going to get a couple hundred views. Like, don't even worry about it. He's like, I'm sorry. Right. I was like, oh, sir, we people know us. Okay. I mean, I'm like trying to blow steam up our ass. Like he had no idea who we were, but yeah, they almost kicked us out and we like begged him to stay and we ended up making that video, but it was crazy. I mean, the things you have to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I feel like it's worth it. Dude, there's these guys, that reminds me of like these guys who had the show on MTV called The Buried Life. I don't know if you remember it, but they got the show by sneaking on to the MTV Awards red carpet.
Oh my God.
And everybody was like, they basically snuck on the carpet and were just like posing for pictures as a group. And so like, obviously people were taking their pictures, people were interviewing them, and MTV was like, who the hell is this?
Okay, yes.
And they ended up getting a show out of it. So it's like sometimes you never know. Like this could have led to you getting your own show. So like I think it was worth it, especially because like I said, it's one of my most memorable ones that you've done. Wait, let's play it. You guys are gonna, by the way, you guys, I want everybody to know that my friends are working behind the camera and I am excited for them to see this right now too.
Oh, I'm saving this seat for my daughter, Chloe.
Shut up. You're literally a psycho.
Oh my God, Court.
It's me.
I got blinded. I didn't even recognize you. You're so bright blonde.
Yeah, I was like, I want to be the color of like a Werther's original.
You know what it looks like?
What?
A lemon drop martini. Have you ever had one of those? Oh.
Are you like so obsessed?
I think you look amazing. You look like one of those anime.
That's not the vibe I was going for. I was going for like rocker chic Pamela Anderson.
Like Blondie. Do you want one of these?
No.
I can have her whip up a couple more if you want to get drunk. See, that's why I like hanging out with Chloe.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Wait, dude, that was the Rock video. We did a whole lead up to a different video. That was the wrong one. But wait, how do we find it? Is it?
There we are. Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, this is it.
Where we are, Skims, New York City.
The line is wrapped around the block for your stank ass.
We're really your biggest cheerleaders.
We love Skims. I don't really want to be here.
I absolutely want to be here.
Like, do we have to wait in line? Like, where's Kim?
No, Kimmy came the first day. She's already in Milan for an event.
Then what the am I doing here?
You're here to support your sister. Let's go get in.
Kimmy only hires the best. Look at these guys.
One of them's my ex-boyfriend.
You're disgusting.
What are you going to buy today?
3 items. I don't think I can pick out more in 90 seconds.
Yeah, we limited it to 3 items. That was my idea. We are at the iconic Rockefeller Center.
Do you know who that is?
Oh yeah, I had coffee with them.
Mom.
Hi, doll.
Hi.
Let me get the autograph.
We'll sign anything you want.
Go,
Kimmy, Stimmy.
Go, Kimberly. Everybody say Skims on 3. 1, 2, 3. Skims! Oh, you're doing amazing. Fabulous.
Say poosh. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Poosh! I was like 30% of excitement.
Dude, that's my favorite one I've seen so far.
That is so good because you know why it's like. It's not that you guys just get the voices. It's like you say things
that they would say.
That they would say. And I love how you just freestyle it so easily. It's like
you're disgusting.
It's like we take 3 things. Courtney's always jealous of like all the attention that Kylie and Kim get.
Right.
Chris is always drunk and talking about Corey, her boyfriend, and Courtney's just trying to plug Poosh. So those are our like big things that we always hit, and then everything else is riffing. Yeah,
that's great. Wait, so is that like a friend of yours for real, or did you guys meet through like also doing content?
We were working for pennies at BuzzFeed doing a digital show that was like 5-6 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And we both saw each other. We were doing comedian commentating. So taking trending, similar to Ridiculousness, where you just like see a clip and then just give commentary on it. And
Except I'm sure everything you said didn't get edited out. Because that's not getting edited out because this is my show, bitches.
I don't have a legendary laugh. I would put your laugh after every single clip though, like no lie. So
no, that's what they would do. They'd edit out everything I say and then just throw my laugh in. And I'm like, I literally speak. I promise you. Like,
I promise I have things to say.
Yeah. But I love that though. That's cool.
You meet people on the job all the time. And so we really started, matching. We would do characters together and then she didn't have really a Chris, but she was working on it. And so we just started it, and now we just do videos together. We have a podcast together, and we do all of our bits on the podcast.
Oh my God, I love it.
So it was a really fun way to, I know everybody has a podcast now, but if you could do something different on your show, that's what we try to do with our voices. So Big Wigs Podcast.
Everybody does have a podcast, and I thought that would be a genius name. And then
someone took it.
Someone has it?
Somebody already has. Everybody has a podcast.
Are they doing it every week, or they fell off? Because you guys can buy it back if they're not utilizing it.
From them?
Yeah.
Dude,
you can
but
be
that,
like, you're not
then
even...
it's like, oh, I want $500,000 or like, you know?
That's a problem I have. As soon as my name's involved, they're like, she's got money. We want as much as possible.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not that rich. I'm not a Kardashian. I should be as rich.
But that's what it's almost like URLs. I didn't know this about the podcast game. You know how there's like no URLs left anymore?
Right.
Like
because people buy it. Right.
Apparently it's the same with podcasts.
kind of
I didn't know it was
is.
that competitive.
It's similar to, so I had this game I would play, and it's kind of funny. It's a little out of date now, but like SoundCloud was like a big thing for, independent artists a while back. And I made the joke, I'm like, you can literally put Lil with anything. And a SoundCloud will come up for a rapper or artist. We've tried it. It became a game. Me and my friends would be like, we looked up, we're like Lil Charmin. Like somebody saw toilet paper, like Lil Charmin. We looked, there's Lil Charmin. Like Lil Glass, Lil Tree, Lil Light.
Lil Doo-Doo.
Lil Doo-Doo. No, I'm not joking. If you put Lil with anything, like the first thing that comes up will be a SoundCloud page. And so it's kind of become like that with podcast names.
Yeah.
It's like every podcast name is just taken.
Yeah.
It's not really a done market, but I feel like people are just getting up to speed with it. And so you just got to keep on trucking. That's what it's just about. Keep it moving. Keep on doing it.
Just keep on talking about life.
Exactly.
Being funny, keeping people entertained. I mean, I get it though, because it's like, there's just so much content these days that like, you kind of just need to keep people entertained, because like there's so many things for them to see. It's like, well, if you're not entertaining them here, they're going to go get entertained there,
Right. So. It's just a way of, I feel like even with when you're doing auditions, there's so many people that are aspiring artists or whatever. So you have to, this is basically your portfolio. You're like, well, I am keeping busy. Even if I'm not getting booked, I'm doing these shoots on my own. And that's proving that you're still working.
Yeah.
Because you're still, it's your own platform. So you can really do anything on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yep. No, exactly. Dude, I told Tim, I was like, he's like, I feel like, you gotta like have like a exact niche, and I'm like, no, you don't. I'm like, I literally will do anything. Like I'll do a DIY video. I'll do like a decor one. I'll do like I'm the mom with the baby one. I'll do like a dancing one or a funny voiceover. I'm like, dude, it's just like, if it's entertaining, if I am capable of doing it at all, I'll just fucking do it,
Right.
I feel like that helps when you're already kind of famous though, right? Because then you can just do whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like
people just care about you and they're just like, I'll literally watch you do anything, right? And that's...
I feel bad about that sometimes, because it's like growing up, like, I was always in performing arts, like drama, orchestra, like all these things. And it's like, I'm like famous for my laugh. And like, I don't like that people are like, oh, I'll watch you fart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like literally, like I don't like that. It's like, no, I'd rather put out like quality content where it's like I'm actually using talent or my brains to like make this. And, but I hate to say it, it's like, when you do that stuff, it doesn't get as good of views as like the dumb video I did where I didn't even fucking try.
Well, that's what's crazy is what I just noticed. So the video that we just watched, I thought that was like the best video of yours that I've seen, but it was like the simple one with you pretending to be on the phone for 15 seconds that had all the millions of views. And we talk about this sometimes. Sometimes it's like the simplest non-effort video is the one that goes viral.
Yeah.
It bothers me though, because that one was no makeup, wearing like an old rusty dusty t-shirt, right? The other one, I had to truck my ass to Rockefeller Center. I had to put on some clothes, makeup, wig. It's crazy. It really is. You don't know what's going to hit. And anybody that's aspiring or trying to get into the industry and they'll ask me, I'm just like, just do you, whatever. If you enjoy it, put it out. That's it.
Well, Chanel, we will do, when she was pregnant, we would do all these little videos of like, like we edit it all together and like make it all cool. And then the one that went like the most viral, go ahead.
It's literally me in which I now realize, like, why did I wear this outfit? So I'm like as pregnant as can be, and I wore a one piece neon like romper thing. And so I literally like filmed myself as I'm walking down a set at Ridiculousness, and I'm like, I look like a big glowworm. Like
it's like
you're
it's
a
literally
Teletubby.
Yeah.
It's literally like 5 seconds long, and it's her just holding
and I
a
laughed at
selfie.
myself, and it has like 18 million views.
That's what I'm saying.
But we'll put like some crazy, like well-produced video together, and it's like, like a couple 100,000 or whatever, you know, like nothing.
People want to be entertained within 5 seconds. If they're not, they'll head out. And so they just already saw what was entertaining about that, which was like your look, and they're like, I'm already hooked. Oh, I could watch this again and again and again.
Well, I think that's like the way that a lot of people even found out you were pregnant too. You know what I mean?
for sure.
That was like the announcer video.
No, like we had announced it on like at the MTV Awards, the Unscripted Awards, I think. But you know, to the average person who's just scrolling TikTok, like I feel like that's the way that they found out. Yeah.
They're like, damn. How do you feel being the +1 to Chanel?
Thank you.
I know you have your own right. I'm just saying because that just made me think that people are like, damn, Chanel's pregnant? Oh shit, who? Now who did that? Now who?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
responsible for this.
I've never thought about it in the way that you put it, just because like I'm sorry,
I had to put it like that. I'm so sorry.
I mean, just because I've already like have my own accomplishments in modeling and like all that, so I'm familiar with this whole industry and like how it works. But yeah, like there was that influx of like who got Chanel pregnant or whatever, you know what I mean?
No, but also
I meant that totally only comically. I totally know that you are absolutely your person. No, and it's just so funny when somebody that
I mean, she's known around the world. I mean, if we go to Jamaica or like anywhere, there will be people that are like, oh, it's Chanel, like what's up? You know, that's one thing that's unique about her. Is she's known like everywhere just because of the show and her laugh.
I'm a bit of a Kardashian myself.
She's international. I mean, seriously, it's true though.
I feel like she doesn't get treated the way that some of these people do, but she's just as well known, if not more than some of these people. So yeah, that's different.
The funniest thing though, so like it was very awkward for me because it's like, you know, we're not, and these days, what is a conventional couple? Like, let's be honest. But like, you know, we're not married yet. We had a baby before getting married, the unconventional way or whatever. But like, it's kind of annoying because also people would always be like, baby West Coast. And I'm like, her last name's going to be Fenison. Like, she's not, like, her last name's not West Coast. Like,
I didn't make her by myself.
Exactly. I'm like, I feel like, it made me feel kind of proud in a way. I'm like, oh, like the West Coast legacy is living on. But also I'm like, you know, it's like he's Mr. West Coast.
Yes, right.
But
he's like, no, I have my own career though. I have my shit.
But it does work for you, babe, because he did grow up in California. So it's like you are Mr. West Coast in a way.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not even something I think about, honestly. No, I wanted to ask you though. So when you're a content creator and you get a lot of traction, like maybe doing one character, like one impersonation, do you start feeling pressure of like almost like you have to keep doing that one thing because you know that's what gets the views, but maybe you would prefer to do something else?
For sure. And I definitely feel like I've messed my career up in that way because I don't chase the viral character. I did Courtney for a really long time and everybody knew me as Courtney. I went viral on TikTok for Courtney. So people started to only know me as Courtney. And then there's been other Kardashian impersonators. And so I wanted people to know me as a girl that could do a lot of voices. So I went against the grain and I started just doing the other videos and other characters that did not get as many views and still don't. But now I've kind of changed my page where it reflects more of me. So it sucks. I probably could have gotten a lot more jobs if I just kept doing Courtney.
But you felt like you were being more authentic to yourself and what you wanted to do, which I actually think is better in the long run because at the end of the day, being viral for doing like one very specific thing can really pigeonhole you.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe if you don't have as much views, but people are seeing your versatility, that could actually open more doors for you, I feel like.
In my mind, you said exactly how I want to portray my page and my content. But it's hard because you're seeing these other people that have just like stuck with one niche. And I think in the beginning of TikTok, finding a niche was important.
Yeah.
Because that grew you instantly and people just went to your page for that one thing. But now there's so many more people on TikTok. So I think it's safer to kind of just like showcase all of your whatever you do.
But I feel like that's the same thing as like on Instagram. It's like if you post like me as a model, her as like as being, you know, famous on TV, if you post like a sexy picture, you're gonna get more traction. But if that's all you post, then you just become like that person, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's like, oh, you know, so sometimes you have to go with what you just feel and with who you are, because if you don't, then you just get like that stigma of like, oh, they're just for the clout, or they're just like, you know.
Yeah, but at the same time though too, I feel like even though like, you know, you probably start wanting to do like what's going to get you the views and all that, you are trying to be an actress. You are trying to expand your career outside of just doing content. And it's like, well, if an agent, for example, is looking at your page, you're like, I want to show them everything I can do, how versatile I am. So I think at the end of the day, it's like, still do what you know is going to, get you the numbers and the views, but also do all the other ones anyways, because it's like, on a more grand scheme of things for your overall career, you want to show people you're a triple threat. You could do it all. You know what I mean?
Right.
And on that note, I wanted to ask, so like as a kid, did you know you wanted to like be in comedy and acting? Were you always like a funny kid and people were like, oh my God, you need to do this?
I definitely always did characters, but I never really wanted to do like musicals. I always auditioned for the bigger roles, obviously with theater. I always got the supporting roles, like Shakespeare. I was like a moth in the corner. I Midsummer Night's Dream. I played the donkey or whatever. I'm like, I didn't even know a donkey was written into this play. They're like, they're not, but you're the donkey. I'm like,
I can relate to this so much. You have no idea.
I'm like, wait, okay, well, so I kind of just always thought of myself as the comedic one. I never really thrived doing on stage and doing like dramatic roles. So I love doing comedy. I love doing characters. So I always knew I wanted to be doing something in that. But my career actually started in radio.
Really?
And then from radio, I started doing commercial work and commercials with my voice. And then I always had a passion for impressions. And then that sort of just translated into putting it on the platforms.
How'd you get into that?
That was putting it on Instagram back in the day. I graduated from college in 2016. And then in 2019, a scout found me for a show that was on NBC. It was only one season, Bring the Funny. It was with Chrissy Teigen, Jeff Foxworthy, Kenan Thompson. And that's when I came out to LA for the first time ever. They flew me out. We did the show. Only made it to round 2, but that's where I got my agents. And it wasn't until then that I took my career seriously.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, I can make money from this. Before, it was just a passion. I would put it on Instagram.
I feel like everyone needs that moment.
But what about but what I want to know is the moment when you knew you could impersonate voices so well. Like
that was in high school. Yeah. It wasn't, I mean, my friends were like, hey, you're pretty good at that. But I look back at my old tapes. Oh my God, you guys, my Courtney was so bad. It was like terrible. I've been doing Courtney for 12 years now. So over time, you get so good at it. But now I can put it on in a second. But before, I mean, I really did work at it. It wasn't just like something. But I knew I can impersonate by doing my teachers. I went to a Catholic all-girls school. So the nuns were characters. And I just love doing it. And I think if you do something enough, you start to get better at it. And yeah, it's just practice makes perfect.
I think that's what people don't realize about comedy too, is it really is like a repetition thing and a practice thing. And people think that if you're funny, you're just funny. But I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, most comedians really have to drill and work on their material and see like what works.
Definitely.
How was that for you?
I still struggle with it all the time. I think I went the easy route and I do impressions. And so impressions aren't seen as strong on stage because it's like, well, that's not you. You're just doing a voice. So it's kind of a cop-out, kind of like crowd work. But I love watching impressions. I love watching crowd work. So I'm trying to carve my own way where I do stand up and I'm able to do voices and I weave it smart throughout. So it's not just, oh, this girl just does impressions. I'm trying to like do a story and then.
What about hosting? Like, do you, like, are you, cause it's so funny. I feel like, all this talk right now about Joe Coy hosting the Golden Globes. I know Joe Coy personally. I did not watch the Golden Globes. I have to admit, I've just seen like, clips online and I hear all these people like, oh my God, he was terrible. And I'm like, what? Like Joe Coy is so funny. I have to go and watch it now. So I'm curious if you can see yourself doing something like that. Cause personally, I feel like you would kill it hosting the Golden Globes. Like I can totally see you like literally impersonating fucking everybody in the crowd. You know what I mean?
Yes. I think that'd be a really fun job. I think I've seen the backlash and listen, Joe Coy is so funny and it just sucks that these people he had like 10 days to prepare for this. This is like one of the hardest jobs. You're supposed to make somebody laugh.
Welcome to the 81st annual Golden Globes. I'm your host, Joe Coy. Look, I'm just taking this all in. Let me look around. I'm taking this all in. I'm so excited to be here. This is a dream come true, not just for me, but for everybody in here. We all dreamt of this moment. And look at this. Look at this room. Look around. I mean, like look around. Look, Kevin Costner's here. Kevin Costner's never here. Kevin's like in a mountain with a cow or something, but today he's here. Don Cheadle's here. I'm just looking around. Just everybody's here. Like, this is a good night. And I got the best seat in the house. When I was a kid growing up, I used to watch this show, and I would stay up late with my family, just trying to guess who would win. And every time my mom would say, "It's Meryl Streep, stupid." who else is going to win? She wins every time. And she was right. You do. You win all the time. That's why when the Golden Globes called me and asked me if I wanted to host, I jumped to the chance and I said, yes. And then they asked me if I saw every movie and every TV show, and then I said, yes. I lied. I only watched Beef. I love you, Allie. You know what I mean? It's mandatory. I'm Asian.
Actually, just from watching that, I feel like you did a good job. But I was going to say, I feel like when a lot of comedians get the chance to host something, they're not usually as funny as you're used to seeing them.
Right.
But I'm actually pretty impressed.
Funny.
Yeah, that was great.
Fine.
I thought that was funny. And listen, we're an easy audience, but these are the celebrities. And so a lot of comedians chimed in and they're like, look, it's hard to host these. You have to make celebrities laugh who are literally, this is like, what do they compare it to? They compared it to making LeBron James laugh before the fourth quarter of the the game. It's like, this is their moment. They're waiting to win an award. And so it's kind of hard when they're like in their serious moment and they're trying to be beautiful. It's a hard room. Like, it's hard to make these celebrities laugh like this. I mean, and also he's so funny, but that's because he is doing his own bits on stage. It's prepared. He's got a true, hundreds of thousands of people that support him and love him. And this is not really his crowd. So it's such a hard thing for a comedian to do. I would never, I'd be so scared to do this. I think I would be so nervous before this performance. It's like a 10-minute set.
I didn't think about that though. It's like the significant difference between an audience that paid for tickets to come see you versus an audience of people that really you could be anybody to them. They're not there for you. So
exactly. They're like, let's just get this over with.
Yeah.
I have to listen to this opening monologue.
Yeah.
It was tough because he roasted a lot of people. And there's roasts that are done well. Like Ricky Gervais, he did a really good roast of like all the celebrities. But a lot of these people, I think the backlash was like, nobody knows Joe Coy like they know Ricky Gervais, or even Katt Williams would be amazing at this. But I think it was hard for him, but I think he got way more hate than he deserved. I don't know. I
thought it was weird. I don't know. I personally it's such a long story, but I went on a trip to the Philippines with Apple from Black Eyed Peas.
Oh my God.
And he brought all of these Filipino influencers. I'm not Filipino. You're probably like, why were you there? I had a song with Apple from Black Eyed Peas, and he told me, he's like, oh, we're doing this, great trip. Why don't we film the video in the Philippines? I was like, of course, I'm coming. Yeah. And so I went on this trip, and it was a lot of, really cool people, different talented people that are all Filipino. And Joe Coy was on the trip. I didn't know who he was at the time either. Mm-hmm. He looked familiar. And then I realized, I seen him on Chelsea Handler.
Yes.
And I didn't know who he was, but within the first 10 minutes, you guys, I was like, I joked. I was like, and no disrespect, babes, I love you and you make me laugh too. But I joked. I was like, I'm never gonna have a vacation this good again because Joe Coy's not gonna be there.
He seems like the type. No, he seems so like the type of guy that would just be hilarious, just off the cuff.
Being around,
the jokes he was cracking about me, I'm blushing now thinking about it because I was so embarrassed. But he would do jokes about everybody. He was he was roasting everyone on the trip.
Love it.
But I remember at the time being like, this guy's so funny. How have I not heard of him more? And I think that's I'm familiar with him now. And so I was like, oh, he's perfect to host this. But I think that all these people were kind of that same way I was, where it was like, who is this?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it was a little premature maybe in his career, but I don't know. I don't think it was that bad. I think he was pretty funny, and it kind of bums me out that all these people were like, he killed it. He sucks.
It's tough. It's a tough room. Actually, I think Chris Rock was hired to do this. He fell off, and so they had to hire Joe. And so I think that was another thing. But he did mention, he's like, listen, I just got booked 10 days ago. Don't expect too much. The jokes you're not laughing about, I had my writers write for me. So there was some weird things he kind of said, if you're not laughing, it's because my writers, he kind of dissed his writers in a way by saying it to the audience.
I heard about that.
So that was kind of off. But for the most part, I mean, it's how do you prepare a monologue like this in 10 days?
Chris Rock had PTSD. He was like, I'm not trying to get slapped again.
Right.
That's so funny. Wait, so he dissed his writers, but Joe has writers? I'm like, no, he doesn't.
Apparently for these appearances, I guess you have you can choose the jokes you want to use, and you have a team of people that will submit jokes to you. But
okay, I didn't know that.
I don't know. It's a really tough. I would be so scared to do that job.
Dude, I'm like, well, now I'm really good at telling Joe's jokes too. I'm like, baby, I'm like, somebody should write me the jokes. I'll go up there and fucking I can kill other people's
this
jokes.
Could be your TikTok niche. We can get you a bald cap and you can just impersonate Joe Coy.
No, the funniest is I was telling some of the jokes that Joe had told on the vacation, and people were like, yo, you're mad funny telling his jokes. And I was like, I am, but like also
that's
like,
how comedy thieves are born.
But also like,
wow,
I can't deliver all of these like Asian voice jokes the same. Like we're not in like in a time where it's gonna go over as well. Like I'm a white girl. So, I did find out I am part Asian through my baby's genetics. So
you guys got the baby tested for the.
So she had to get like all this genetic testing because I had like a high risk pregnancy, and so he's done his DNA test. He knows what he is. He's like 4 things. It was just white and black. And
really?
he doesn't look black, but he's part black. And so we knew that I had in her genetics, it was Asian and Hispanic. And he's has no Asian and Hispanic. So I now know I have Asian and Hispanic in me, which makes so much sense. Like so much sense if you know like what I eat, my lifestyle. Like
right. I can see it. I can see it.
Literally, like I it makes sense. Babe, all I eat is Asian and Mexican food, is it not?
That's true.
You do live in LA. What else really is there to be eating? But
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what I've had here. But yeah.
No, but I really do think that like I could totally see you hosting and killing it. Not killing it the way people said he killed it, like killing it like on.
I'm gonna need like another 10 years under my belt, and then I'll feel good, you know. But I don't think I could do it. I say that now, but give me 10 years, you know, with some more experience. It's tough. It's tough. And if nobody laughs, you got to just be, you know, think of something else and like live in the silence. It's scary.
It's actually kind of similar to performing at like a music festival, right? Like a lot of the people who go to the music festival are there for other artists. They might not even be there for you at all. And you might have a time slot where it was like, you know, where you end up having these people who are just waiting for the person after you. And they're just kind of like, I'm just here to wait for the person after you. And so I've performed in crowds like that. And it's like, it's nerve wracking. Like they're just like
giving you nothing.
They literally have a face just like, and you're like, okay, I'm like sweating my ass off, doing every dance move like on some Beyonce shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like,
you're giving it your all,
Oh, and at weed festivals, you guys, those are the worst. I performed at a weed festival in Vegas.
Everyone's silent. You're like,
it was like 100 degrees and everyone's high, and they're all just like. I swear that was the face. And I was just like looking at the crowd, like at everyone. First of all I could think was you all have the driest mouths right now because they're all like,
just
like,
a fly can fly right in.
Dry Vegas cotton mouth. Like that's all I could think. I was like, everybody here has the driest fucking mouths right now. But like, it's hard to perform for those crowds. And it's a little discouraging, but I always look at it like, I'm like, oh, it's just like practice, dude. Like now I'm going to do this. And like, it's almost like performing at like the school talent show to get better for, you know, doing it as an adult.
Exactly. You got to look at all those appearances as just practice runs. No one's going to remember that one. They all hide. No one, they won't even remember what they did the next day. So you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
But okay, so wait, I want to ask you this too. So I remember like when I think I had first DM'd you and I was like, we should link up or something. I can't even remember how we first connected, but you told me you were moving to LA at the time. And
where do you live now?
I live in Brooklyn, in New York.
Okay. What like neighborhood?
I live in the Williamsburg neighborhood. It's about 20 minutes into the city. It's great. It's just New York is actually really huge, and people don't always know. Somebody did an LA map and they compared it to like Manhattan. So like people from New York could like kind of understand LA because LA is so big.
Yeah.
And that helped me out so much. I was like, okay, so don't go to this part of LA. Got it.
Yeah.
No, we're both familiar. So her dad's from New York. So she's been there a ton of times. And I've lived in New York as well.
Like basically,
Damn. Yeah. And then you also are from New York.
I'm from here, but I lived in New York because I obviously when I was modeling like the heaviest, I lived in multiple cities. And it's like you're not really a model if you don't go to New York for at least a little bit, you know?
Right.
So I was there. It's so funny. So I lived in Brooklyn also, but
oh my God.
I knew nothing about New York when I came. So I ended up in this like, and I didn't even know. I thought because it's like New York's one of the most populated cities in the world, right? So I'm like, everywhere stuff's going to be going on.
Yeah.
No, I literally ended up in like this abandoned Jewish neighborhood with like no people in it. It was so weird. There was like one Dunkin' Donuts.
My friends had an apartment in a neighborhood like that too, so I know exactly what you're saying.
And it was the worst Dunkin' Donuts in the world too.
Damn.
So my whole like first 2 months of living in New York was in this like very bizarre like deserted neighborhood.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's so crazy though, because even then, that probably wasn't that long ago. But New York is like still in development stages, which is crazy to think about because you're just thinking New York is one of the biggest cities.
Oh,
but still areas.
Especially in Brooklyn. It's like areas that used to be like dead little areas like that are now like thriving with all this new, construction and all of that. But okay, what I really wanted to know though, so when you moved here, I remember you told me you're like, I'm coming to LA today, and I hate to say it, in my head I'm like literally like she's not gonna last long, guys. I know how it goes with people. They come out here and they're ready to live the California dream, and then they're like, oh my God, this city is shit. I gotta go. Yeah. So what was your experience like? Did you just feel like, oh, like I'm fed up with it, I gotta go back home, or did you just feel like you're more of like a East Coaster? Or?
It was kind of a mix of that. I came out to LA and not really expecting anything. I just had a great opportunity. My friend had an open room and it was like a 3-person apartment. It was affordable, cheaper than New York. And I thought, let me just try it out. And I really, truly knew nothing. I just had a couple friends here and I told my agents, book me for anything, guys. And I didn't get that many jobs. And I missed my family. All my family lives on the East Coast pretty much.
Yeah.
So it was a mixture of just missing my family. My one roommate moved back to the East Coast. And I thought, oh my God, this is even less people living out here. And I just did not give it enough time. And I really missed like the hustle and bustle of New York. And I feel like in LA, you can walk around and be at such peace and love the nature. But when you're trying to work and hustle and get jobs, I need to be in New York and walk out my door and see a million people.
Yeah.
And that's New York. And so I kind of felt a little lost here, but kind of lonely, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that on top of just missing my family, and I decided I'm going to move back. It was just kind of like a little staycation here. And then, so you were right. The girls couldn't hack it.
No.
Well, I was gonna say, me and you both grew up here, so we don't have, even though we've lived other places, we don't have that experience. But I would say that LA is like the most populated, lonely place in the world.
It really is.
It's very bizarre.
It really is. Well, it's also like we have such like, because it's so spread out and everybody's like in their cars, like it's not like a city where people are traveling with each other all the time. And I get what you're saying though, because it's like as a kid, I'd go visit my dad in New York, and it's so funny because I think of my summer vacations in New York, even though I went to school and grew up here. But mom would be like, all right, it's summer vacation, peace out. And
go to dad.
I'd be off to New York. And so like I would be, bored. I'd have all this free time. And I just remember the excitement of being in the city. And my dad was also a DJ, so he was always up late.
That's
and he'd like take me out bicycle riding at like 2 a.m. And I remember being like, it's 2 a.m. Everybody's still out. Like, and like that like just, it made me so motivated and like excited. And that's actually where like when I was a kid, I'd be bored. I was an only child and have shit to do. My dad would be like sleeping in because he DJ'd till 4 a.m.
Right.
And I'd get motivated just by everything going on around me. I'd be like, I want to make music. Like I want to do something, and it just gives you that energy. And I remember one of the first summers I stayed home in LA, I felt like it was my most dead summer vacation ever.
I believe it.
It was so weird. And so it's like, I get what you're saying. Like just that energy of that one summer I was here, I was like, it's not as exciting. Like, like I just felt bored. Like I'm not going to school every day. Like the beach is far as hell. Like, you know what I mean? And
the thought of driving an hour to like get to any destination, I was like, I might as well just sit my ass here and not do anything. In New York, I could literally go to the bodega and see some crazy person on crack. And I'm like, and here's my day. My day has begun.
Exactly.
But in LA, I felt very stuck.
Yeah, well, you only plan one thing a day here
and
because you have
2
hours to get there, 2 hours to get back.
Right.
So your whole day is just like, it's like I literally like space things out to where like I don't, in New York, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to run a couple blocks this way, go get my nails done. Then I'm going to go pick up my dry cleans and that. To do all of that stuff in a day here, you can't do that stuff in a day here. It takes a week.
It out over the week. Right.
No, that's so true though. That's so New York. It's like the lifestyle of New York is like bing, 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 bing. Like I'm just doing stuff all day. And then in
insane.
LA, it's literally like, I'm what?
Babe, you're going to crack up. I feel so terrible. I'm calling him Mr. West Coast. And I'm like, yeah, it was even easier when it was Fashion Week at VMAs, and I'm like, babe, I need you to go pick up my Louboutins. He's like, I got you. And he just like shoots down the street and gets the Louboutins. And I was like, babe, can you help me get this? He's like, I got you. In LA, he'd be like, I'm not driving all the way to the Louboutin store right now. But he literally got on a freaking subway, went 5 minutes for me and picked up my shoes for me.
It's a good point because no, but that's a good point because if she was like, oh, go to Topanga Mall and grab some shoes for me, I'll be like, you are out of your mind. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. But in New York, it felt very like, okay. And obviously we're in New York. It had been a while too since we'd been to New York. So I was happy to go like explore the city. But yeah, last time we were there a couple months ago for Fashion Week, it was just very like, I love just walking out of the hotel, cobblestone streets, people everywhere. Like people are moving around. The energy was just great.
It's something about the energy there. I always joke too. I'm like, do the days not feel shorter in LA? And I'm from here.
Right. So even I had no business being out here. If the old people from here don't even, I have really. I had such high hopes and I just failed completely.
No, the days feel short, dude. Yeah. Whenever I'm in New York, I feel like my day's so long. I'm like, oh, it's only 6. Like, you know what I mean? And here it always feels like, wait, the day's over already. Like,
and Miami has even longer days.
It's weird.
Oh, Miami never ends.
Yeah.
No, so, it's weird. But
how do you balance that though? Because obviously there would, you didn't give it enough time, right? There are opportunities out here, even if some of them didn't come to you at that time, you know that they are here. So how do you reconcile with that? Of like, you would prefer to be there, but you might be able to get some opportunities here.
Great job with all your questions, guys. Really, I love all these questions. I just think of it as LA will be my place I visit for work, and New York will be where my base is. And I just have to, I try to pack my days when I come out to LA. So I get super excited about the trip, and then that sad, lonely feeling never happens in LA anymore. Yeah. So I would love to be out here at least 6 times a year if possible, and stay for a week and just like book all my things, But, if I booked for a show, I'll bring my ass right back wherever I need to be in LA. You let me know.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it's just home is East Coast and work is West Coast and opportunities. And I've made a lot of friends out here. So I do get to, make my stops, and that feels good.
Yeah, I love that.
But you guys are moving to East Coast, right?
So we have a condo in Miami that's almost ready. So we'll be living there like part-time. But
it's funny that you mentioned that though. I feel like what you just said about New York and LA for me is like the opposite.
How do you feel about New York?
I want to visit New York to work and then just kind of come back, because I do love it there. But yeah, it's also it is a lot.
I look at it kind of the same too. It's like when you go to New York, there's like so much. Like all the press stuff is out there. Yes. You know what I mean? Like you basically go out there and like get so much networking done. And so I look at it like, you get a lot of work done while you're there too, even though my family's there and all that. But it's funny, like I have more of a fan base in the East Coast than the West Coast. My name is Chanel West Coast.
Right. But that's crazy.
I think it's because people on the East Coast, and I know you feel me on this too, babe, a little bit, are a lot more real. I think here, because we are so separated, people aren't as like rubbing shoulders every day. Like people are very like closed off, and that's not how people are in New York. And I'm very upfront. I will tell it like it is. And I think that New Yorkers like almost see that in me and relate to me, because I'm like, it's so funny. I legit have way more fans in New York and the East Coast than the West Coast. And so I'm like,
well, it's like everyone in LA wants to be something too. Like everyone wants to be famous. Everyone wants to be, in New York, it's like everyone has like more of a profession, or they're working towards something. But in LA, it's like everyone wants to be a Kardashian or something like that. And it's like nothing. It's like LA's a place where all the somebodies go to become nobody. You know what I mean?
It's the best saying because it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt out here. I'm like, okay, so what are you doing? I mean, I got my channel, and I sometimes I do Cameo. I'm on Feet Finder. I'm like, girl, you have to take your ass to New York and really start booking some stuff, because Feet Finder is not going to provide you a lifestyle. I mean, but they'll think they are it. They are like, I am.
No, I know.
Right. And you're like, what? In New York, your ass would be lying flat on the ground and nobody would respect you, and they'd be like, no, you've done nothing with your career. Like, what?
Well, also some of the things people do here to pay their bills could never pay the bills in New York.
Right.
Like it's a way different, ball game there.
Yeah.
But okay, wait. So I wanted to ask you. So you said you have a boyfriend?
Yes.
So how long have you guys been together?
Been together for 2 years, and he does voices too. So
really? I love that.
It's just as dysfunctional and weird as you think. You're like, oh my God, do you guys like do stuff and like talk in different voices? I'm like, come on.
No.
Do y'all do videos together?
We do some videos together. We met doing impressions, and then but his voices, they don't really interact with mine, so we really try to like get them to interact.
I was about to say you have to find like a cohesive,
That's what I was just gonna say. It's like he's like doing voices of somebody that like would never hang out with a Kardashian or Teresa at all. Right. And it's like, why are these two people hanging out?
Right.
But do you guys ever just like randomly talk to each other in one of the voices?
We used to be long distance, so when we would call each other, I would love for him to do voices, and it sounds so stupid now that I'm saying it, but we would just talk for an hour in like different voices and just have fun. And I enjoy I'm not impressed with my voices, but I'm always impressed with an impressionist that can do really good voices. So that to me amazes me. And he's really good at it. So
That's dope.
That just goes to show though how like in relationships there really is like someone for everyone, and there really is like these dynamics, because you know personally like I wouldn't want my girlfriend to talk to me in like
any other voice, right?
impressions, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I love that you two have that like dynamic and that you appreciate that about each other. I feel like that's really cool.
It is really cool. I think that it's funny that you just said that too. You're like there really is because I swear sometimes I'm like, this man is like my second part of my brain. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes when I'm like, oh my God, like that's why like everything was a mess this whole time until you like, babe, we were literally soulmates. Like we were meant to be here. But I also don't know if he thinks the same about me. So I'm like, I don't want to get too deep on this because I'm like, he might be like, bitch, I don't even think like that.
No, what do you mean though? So you feel like I kind of
no, like just like how you guys came together, like through doing voices, like. You know, like I even feel like the way we came together and like we do so much together now, like we're doing this podcast together. Like I just feel like we were meant to like, you know, we were like these two separate halves that like weren't complete till we're together. I know it sounds so corny, but that's how I really feel. Like, you know, I've always been an only child. He's an only child. We're both only childs. You know, we both grew up with a single mother. And I feel like it's so weird. Like,
how did you go so long in life without knowing this other person? That you have so many similarities
that's
with you?
Exactly what I'm saying. Like, even I'll see pictures of him as a kid, and I'm like, I feel like I would have the biggest crush on you as a kid.
We would have been best friends.
No, we would have been best friends.
Well, you know, strangely enough, before we were together, we had met like 4 years before.
No,
and got along great at that time too.
And you don't remember, or you just
we knew. No, we remembered, but we just didn't like. I guess it just wasn't.
He ended up having a really hot girlfriend, and then forgot he met me.
You're like, let me.
I was like, I remembered meeting him, and I was like, you know what? Let me check in and see like what's up with that guy, you know. And I went to his page, and I was like, oh, that's what's up. He has like his girlfriend literally looks like she was just created in a lab. And, like, she looks like a fucking avatar. I'm not even joking. And so,
but you know, it just goes to show how like life will continue putting you in the same situation until you realize like, oh, I guess this is where
it's
you
so
want
weird
me.
because that's what I'm saying. Like he came into my brain, and I thought about him like, let's see what that guy's up to. And then I saw the girlfriend. I'm like, oh, I'm not a homewrecker. Like, forget about this guy. But then he like popped in my brain again years later when I happened to need a hot model in my video, and now here we are. But it's like it's crazy though because I feel like. You know, like whenever you find like I think it's so funny that you and your dude both do voiceovers. Yeah. Or not voiceovers. Is that what it is? Voiceovers.
Voices.
It sounds so like ominous, like we both hear voices.
Let me tell you, we are crazy. We are fucking crazy. Let me just let that be known.
No, but I feel like that's just it's cute. It's cute. I love hearing like about these like love stories where people come together and like are meant to be like that.
And it just goes to show that different people have different values. Like it's not all like the criteria isn't just the same for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I personally really appreciate that because it just goes to show people out there that you don't have to like check these specific boxes in order to find your person or in order to find people that appreciate you. You can be appreciated for the things that you're interested in and the things that you're good at.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I go back and forth on opposites attract because everybody's like, well, aren't you like the same type of personality as your boyfriend?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, we are, but there are certain things that we do match each other on. But I don't know if you guys experience that because I feel like you do have the kind of the same personality.
We don't really.
No, I'm definitely way more extroverted than him. Yeah. He's way more introverted.
This is the best way to put it. We have a lot in common, but but who we are is like very different, right?
Got it.
So like me and her had very similar upbringings, very similar interests, like all that. But our personalities are very different. I'm much more chill. She's much more high energy.
I'm way more extra. Like he joked that when we first started dating, he's like, babe, like your whole closet. He's like, everything looks like you're going to be in a music video every day.
Whereas
like ants?
Whereas like my wardrobe,
anything just like chill
just
to wear for lunch.
Beige.
Right.
What about a little rhinestones? like so like since being with him, like I've found more like regular clothes to wear out because before it was literally every outfit looked like I should be in a music video.
Yeah, and on the flip side, like when I met her, I was much more like
reserved,
neutral, just like very like chic, like neutral, like whatever.
Yeah, let me explain because you have a sense of humor.
Exactly.
I before would not even like talk to a person if they didn't make me laugh within like the first 5 minutes. And so I was very hesitant. Obviously this man is gorgeous, but I have to be honest because he's a little bit more reserved. So you don't know him right away. Right. So I didn't know this person was funny right away. So I was like, okay, like he's hot, but like, I'm not really interested. No offense, babe. Obviously we're here now. So, but like I actually for one, like I remember thinking like, okay, maybe I should just like not care like right away. Like I was like, he's such a nice guy, a good guy, and you can tell. And so I actually, it's funny because it's like some people are like, oh, just give him a chance, and you'd be like, what? Just give this guy a chance. But like I'm like, I want to see the personality, you know?
Yeah.
And after we got to know each other and like he opened up more and I saw the sense of humor come out, I was like, oh, you are funny. Like, okay, I can definitely date you now that I know that that's there, you know? It's a very smart sense of humor. He says a lot of things that like, you know, I don't know how to say. I don't know how to.
It's not easy humor.
My sense of humor is very like
sometimes it's mean. I guess
subtle. Yeah, it's very like subtle, some a little sarcastic, little
that very smart sense of humor. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy that I discovered that side of him because I'm like we wouldn't be here right now if I never took that chance to get to know him. You know what I mean?
I feel like you never really know anyone for at least 6 months to a year or something. Even the most,
it's true.
Yeah, even the most extroverted people.
You just said it like I did not know what I was getting myself into.
I didn't.
You really got to give yourself 6 months, even a year. I mean, you really need to know somebody. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
But yeah, it's like, I feel like even the most extroverted person, you're still going to learn things about them that weren't on the surface at first. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And and honestly, sometimes those people are worse because someone that's more reserved, you'll learn more like, oh, there's more depth to you. Like,
Yes.
Sometimes the people that appear so great, they're the ones that actually end up having the biggest problems, like under the surface.
Usually they'll use that exterior like loud nature to kind of distract from like whatever actually is going on. You're like, wait a minute, you're actually a psycho freak. Okay. The exterior really, no, that'll happen a lot, especially in show business. You're like, wait, show business is a hard kind of thing because you can make relationships with people that it takes me a while to like really build a business relationship. And I'm sure you guys have experienced this, but just knowing who to trust in the industry, it can be tough. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. I literally don't trust DTA for life. Don't trust anyone. I don't. It's like out here. I mean, I grew up out here and I'm a very down to earth, humble person. I'm not that type of person that like got on TV and was like, I don't know any of you. Like I stayed friends. I always joke. I'm like, I stayed friends with my friends from high school. Cause like, honestly, they're around the corner. I couldn't escape them if I tried, you know? And so I stayed friends with a lot of people for a long time. And it took a long time to realize like, dang, these people are actually not my friends. Like, they didn't like me this whole damn time. Yeah. They were jealous, talking shit or whatever. And I was kind of blind to that. But I think that back to even like you not staying in California and like leaving, I think that that's kind of like, it's a sad thing about California. And like, that's why like, you know, it's like California Dreaming. That's the name of the show. I think we all come here with these big dreams, but that's the thing is everybody has these big dreams here and it's so competitive and a lot of people are just like not real, you know, and you got to be able to sift through and figure out, you know, who's the real ones and who to keep on your team and who not to keep on your team. And that all that matters so much. And that's also why I love this man and why I'm doing, you know, this podcast with him and we work together so well because it's like, there's not very many people in the world that I can trust, but I can trust him. And I'm like, if I'm going to work with people and have, you know, businesses with them and do all these things, it's like, I have to be able to trust them. And that's what's so hard about this city. It's like, you don't trust anyone, dude. Like everybody's in it for themselves. And you got to kind of just know that, you know, like everyone's in it for themselves. And like, you can't like, you almost can't like take it personal. You know what I mean? You just got to like, keep what'd you say, keep trucking along? Like
keep trucking along there. Day by day. Those are the pep talks I give in the morning to myself. Like just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Because it is really tough. And I think I had more people in New York and it was like you guys were saying, there's more business minded people. There's a lot more industries in New York. And I think people do come here to have that dream realized. So I just had more connections. There was more work in New York. And I would always love to come back to LA.
What do you think is going to be like next for you? Do you want to do more acting? Or will you ever do stand-up comedy? Like what's next?
I would love to develop a one-woman show, the Andrea Lopez Experience, where I bring on some of my other impressionist friends and we do a couple sketches. I do some stand-up. There's another comedian, Heather McMahon, who I love. She was always doing comedy, but she wants to act, but she does this one-woman show and people come to it and she does characters. I think I could just use all of my talents in one and just wrap it up into like the Andrea Lopez show. But I would love to do voiceovers for animated series, work in honestly, it's just such a broad thing.
Yeah.
But I know I love entertainment and I love to make people laugh. And if I can make money, if I could just survive a little bit,
Exactly.
I don't even need to be a millionaire. I just need like a couple $100K. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if I could just make money doing what I love and be able to support my family, I mean, that's the dream.
Well, I think we should definitely talk more after this. We've talked here for a while. But I that's what I really want to do is develop more comedy projects.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because I've been on Ridiculousness for a long time, but I know a lot of people know I do music. Not everybody knows, but behind the scenes, that's always been my passion is music. And then it took like so long to like, it's like, I finally woke up and I'm like, wait, maybe I'm famous for being on a funny show and my laugh. Cause like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And
it's crazy.
I've done voiceover stuff like that too, but I would love to work more with you. And like, I feel like we could totally like develop some funny shit together.
100%.
Like, a sketch show, all female sketch show could be really funny. But yeah, I'd love to talk to you more about that. Cause I love that shit. I tell him all the time. I'm like, dude, cause like I do like funny faces and shit. Like I get embarrassed sometimes. Like I can do a lot of funny faces. My mouth can open very big. Pause.
What show am I
can
on?
confirm.
He said, I can confirm. Thanks, babe. Oh my God. That was awkward. But, thanks, babe.
No, seriously though.
I could do crazy faces and stuff.
She's like, we should do a sketch show. My mouth expands to like crazy. I'm like, wait.
There is a limitless expansion.
Listen, I can do lots of hilarious faces and and voices. I've done voiceovers too on like some cartoons.
You'd be so good on that, yes.
But yeah, no, I would love to like work with you on some stuff and like maybe we could like develop something and do that. I've always, it's like one of my biggest dreams to go on SNL.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't say that. I actually feel like I want to help you.
They filmed that in New York too.
This will be my 5th year auditioning. But I mean, a lot of people have auditioned multiple times and they either don't get it or they get it on like the 9th try.
Okay, I want to know, I'm sorry, but a few people have definitely sucked a D to get on there because there are some people on SNL, I'm not going to say names, who I don't even think are funny and you're hilarious. Like, I don't know how the hell you would have made it.
I adore you. Now it's a business, it's the look they're looking for. You have to fit a box. You have to be a certain ethnicity. You have to have done stand-up for this long. So there's a huge amount of criteria that goes into it that people don't talk about. All of my comments are like, why aren't you on SNL? And I'm like, bitch, if you only knew what the process is, it's a really long
How do you audition?
Process.
Like, where do you find out about it?
Your agents you'll either be scouted or my agents had me, they hit them up and then you submit a 5-minute tape with a certain amount of characters, original and also impressions. But they've recently been looking for, they'll go to stand-up shows and they'll pick stand-up comedians because their writing is really good. So obviously I write all of my own impression bits, but I don't do just Andrea Lopez doing the stand-up. Like they haven't seen me enough. So my tape is literally voices. And so a stronger tape is usually the stand-up comedians that get scouted and they just make them do the characters. But the impressions are not as strong anymore because they're going for more stand-up and not impressionists.
Well, that's the goal this year then. We're gonna get that tape right. We're gonna get you on the SNL.
I'm sorry.
My tapes are so embarrassing though. Like I really have always wanted to put them on YouTube. I mean, because my old tapes were just like, what was I doing? I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I submitted this. But once you get chosen, you go on to the next stage, which is a live show. Anybody can go. It's free tickets and you just do your 10-minute set. It's so embarrassing because nobody laughs because you're just standing on stage with a wig and you're doing your character and people just don't know what you're doing. And you go back, the room's quiet. You like take off your shirt and you put on a different shirt and it's like, then the lights go back on and you're a different character. And if I had a penis and balls, it would be so small and shrunk because it's like the most embarrassing situation. Like you're just paralyzed by nobody laughing and nobody knowing what you're doing. But you're like, I'm going to be a different character now. It's so humiliating, but that's the process. And then from there, you keep on going until you're in front of Lorne Michaels. And
that's amazing.
The process.
Well,
that's crazy.
Andrea, you're very talented.
Thank you.
We're
guys
really
as well.
glad you came.
You are very talented.
Yeah,
so funny,
we believe
dude.
in
I
you.
literally, like, I'm not gonna lie. You know me. Tonight, before I go to bed, I actually am just gonna go and watch some of your videos. just to make, I like to make myself happy before I go to bed because I tend to wake up at 4 a.m. with anxiety about everything I did wrong in life.
Of course.
So it's like the best thing for me to do is to just watch a little bit of funny shit right before I fall asleep and have that in my mind.
Thank
So
you.
I'm gonna watch you tonight before I go to bed.
All right.
I feel so special
That
to
sounded
even.
a little weird, also.
After or before when you open your big mouth? We
It sounded a little bit creepy, but gosh, I'm a little
Thanks,
tired today.
guys.
My baby was sick last night.
You get a pass. You get a pass. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much, and I would love to work with you in
Oh
the
my
future.
God, no, thank you
yeah.
for coming. Like, I am
you.
so happy we were able to make this happen. And by the way, your podcast. Do you guys
Yes.
have guests on your podcast?
We're a year old now. It's Big Wigs Podcast. It's with my co-host and comedy partner Anna Roisman, and it's every Thursday. We have started doing guests, but we have not released the episodes. So we wanted to do a year and kind of develop our voices.
Yeah.
So the podcast is a year old officially, and so now we'll have guests on.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
well, have
All
me
right,
on. I'd love to be there.
100%. Are you coming to New York anytime? Because we'll put you in studio. Otherwise,
oh yeah.
please
Well, my
don't.
family's out there, so like I have to.
Anytime.
I can't.
You
they're
have
there.
to see them
I have to
sometime.
see them at some point. So when I come, I'll come out there and we'll link up for sure.
Perfect.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's make
Big
it
Wigs
happen.
Podcast. We've had Andrea Lopez here. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
we'll see you guys on the
you.
next one.
Go watch all of her content. You will laugh all night long. Seriously. Such good content.
Thank you, Dollskis, for listening to this episode. Make sure to follow Chanel West Coast and Dom Fenison on all of the socials. See you guys next time. Kisses.
Love it. That was so great. You're so funny.